Где-то в лесу дремучем или на горной круче сами себе построим дом. Там вокруг такая тишина, что вовек не снилась нам.
Hey Josh. Right, let's see if Kasab has a beacon. 8. Some of these lights are still a little bright. Like the backing is a bit bright. Some weird engine troubles with my 21 the other day. Any idea what I forgot to turn on? Outside of the usual switches. So, those 3, the right one there, those 2, those 3, and then uncage and hold the starter and it should go. Frame rate's really bad again. I literally just restarted my PC, but welcome to Persian Gulf, I guess. We're just gonna have to deal with it. It should improve once I'm further away from Kasab. This airbase in particular runs like absolute dog shit. I really, really don't like Persian Gulf, I'll be honest with you. I wish we had like a Cold War era version, not the modern one. Because it would be a lot less laggy for one thing, because there'd be less shit to render in. Hey Jackstream. No, it's spooled up, it just ended up cutting out after a few minutes. Fuel pumps. If you forget the fuel pumps, she's gonna run for maybe a minute or 2 long enough to taxi, and the second you go up to mill or burner, she'll cut. I fucked that up on my first flight on stream in the 21 as well. It's something that gets real pilots quite often, like private pilots and Cessnas and stuff. Leads to quite a lot of accidents. They just forget to make sure the fuel pumps are actually on. That's all I can think of. This is really distracting again. I need to get rid of OBS. Which means I won't be able to see if the stream goes down, but it should make things run a little better. Or I can get kicked from the server. What the fuck just happened? Did I drop? Pretty sure I didn't drop. What the fuck was that? Bruh. Okay, well, that was bizarre. It was really bizarre. Yeah, it said mission is over. Maybe Alpin restarted the server remotely or something. I don't know. See, I'll stay away from my DCS for a bit yet. It's not as bad as people are making out. Hog made a shitload of drama about not the last patch. Well, last patch, but it's been hotfixed. It's not that big of a deal. Most of the major issues have been fixed. There's still some damaged model problems with particular aircraft, the Hornet especially. But it's not unplayable or anything. The performance issues are largely because this map is an unoptimized piece of shit, and my PC is pretty old. Hey guys. This cockpit is absolutely beautiful. It still desyncs occasionally. like, that came in with 2.5.6 basically, and I doubt it's going to go away anytime soon, but usually it clears up pretty quickly. I've noticed when I merge with someone, they might initially desync, but then after, you know, like 10-20 seconds of trailing them, it should cut out and go back to normal. And even if it doesn't, the desync isn't super severe, like it doesn't give you much aiming error. So, like, I'm still able to make gun kills even though someone's desyncing, just because it's predictable where they're going to desync. You know, it's like a constant desync, not an intermittent one. If that makes any sense at all. I'm hoping once we get away from Kasab, my frames should improve, but I don't know. Again, this map is unoptimized as hell. I really, really do not like Persian Gulf, and I appreciate Alpin making missions on it. It adds some variety, but I kind of would prefer it just stayed on Caucasus, honestly. Because as well, not everyone that plays on this server has PG, so it kind of cuts the player count at times. Trying to set up some SAM sites for my custom mission and test how they work. At the moment, the SA2 reload time seems to be 11.5 days, probably not intended. Those are missing some parts. Like, ED really fucked up on that. We got the worst possible version. It's missing one of its radar systems or one of the transport trucks or something. I think it might be the transport truck, actually. Like, there's a bunch of shit missing for the SAM systems. ED really dropped the ball on them. Really like you can see the glass over the instruments now. I actually dislike it. The glass is too opaque. Like, I like that there's glass there, but it's... the default ED material kind of sucks the detail out of whatever's behind it, so I'm not a fan. And because the ASP reflector is made of the same stuff, it becomes very difficult to see through this at night. Because it's got just enough opacity to it, it's quite hard to make out a target on the other side of it. Bought a new table, wish me luck, because my video card's going south and usually starts from like 10 to 15 time of reset. Ooh. Fingers crossed, man, fingers crossed. Right. Oh, that was not a pleasant takeoff. The suspension's still a bit hokey. I mean, I didn't take off very well myself, but the suspension's not quite where it needs to be, I think. And as we get away from Kasab, the frame rate immediately starts improving. It's all those fucking trees, I think. Because they don't seem to be affected by the clutter settings, so if I turn the clutter distance or the tree density down, it still doesn't seem to fix them. They're like manually placed or something. I still gotta get used to the new cockpit. Like, the geometry of it kind of spins me out, head tracking wise, but it is definitely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. The visibility is so much better. Love to fly the MiG-21, but I can't. Fucking tying 4 computers together to get decent frames, yeah. Oh, can't be fucked tying computers, yeah. I will say that despite how good it looks, the module actually does run a lot better than it used to now. Like, it looks better, but it runs better as well. But yeah, DCS in general is pretty rough on the system. I only barely get away with it myself. Why... something just doesn't quite feel right about this. Like, it's too sensitive. Felt so weird at first in VR for me because it's quite a lot bigger. Yeah, I've heard that. Yink said it's really wide now compared to before. We have no EWR at all. I'll have to set one up. We'll do a quick cap flight and then I've got to set up an EWR. Loud and clear. Looks like my head position's a little off. For the MiG-21, roll back your video card drivers. That's what's causing it. The new NVIDIA drivers don't play nice with DCS. The MiG-21 has it worst at the moment, but it was an issue with the Hornet and the MiG-19 as well, and apparently the Viggen. Like, just trust me on this, roll back your video card drivers to, like, a version before, what is it, 4.4, is it 4.42 or something like that? Yeah, I think it's 4.42.16 before that, so I'm on, like, 4.38 point something. Roll back to that, and you should see a massive performance increase, and when you turn the radar on, the FPS drop is not there anymore. Like, I never had the radar FPS issue because I never updated my drivers in the first place, so you should have no issues with that. It's a DCS level issue. It hasn't been fully resolved yet. I think some of the modules have worked around it, but the actual cause of the problem is still there. Is this a 12-hour mission? Yeah. A few of them are quite long, some are 10 or 12 hours. What was the version you said? I think it's 442.16, but I'm on 438 point something, so, like, that sort of level of video card drivers is where you want to go. Despite me unbinding toe brakes, still got a nasty drift to the left on takeoff. The nose wheel probably hasn't centered itself. You need to actually let the aircraft roll for a bit so the nose wheel straightens out, and you may need to just tap the differential brakes when you start the roll to straighten it. Quite often I need to do that because the nose wheel's not straight ahead. I mean, this thing shouldn't even have toe brakes, so I don't think they'd, like, well, the aircraft doesn't have toe brakes, so I don't think there'd be a toe brake binding. There's probably a binding for brakes in general, but I don't think there's a toe brake binding. Just let it roll for a bit, make sure the nose wheel straightens out, and then, you know, tap the brake lever and give it a bit of rudder if it doesn't. That should get it on its way. Frames are still terrible. Like, I just restarted my PC. I have nothing open except DCS, SRS, the chatbot, and OBS, and like my frames are just so bad. I really hate this map, dudes. I really hate Persian Gulf. It's so bad performance-wise. So time for server reset? Quite a while from now, I think. I think this mission may have just reset itself, actually. Oh, you're gonna set the EWR up? Good. Because I am incompetent when it comes to helicopters. Next flight, I might leave the... we'll have to wait until I get a new aircraft because the rheostats are bugged at the moment. But next flight I'll leave the instrument lighting and the panel lighting off and we'll see if that helps. It shouldn't. In single player I didn't notice any performance impact from the lights being on, which is impressive considering there's like at least about 20 or 30 different light sources in the cockpit now. But we'll see how we go. I think it's just Persian Gulf that's causing these frames to be so bad, to be honest with you guys. Excuse me. My frames aren't actually bad, in fact. It says 70 frames a second, but the frame time is really bad. I don't know why. Yeah, the stuttering. Exactly, it's the stuttering that's the issue. This is the thing, my DCS usually runs around 50, 60, 70 frames a second, even in a built-up area on Caucasus, but the stuttering is what kills it. So, like, I have a really good frame rate, but it stutters so badly. I do wonder if it is my CPU bottlenecking me, or if it's something else. What have you got it installed on? An SSD. A huge SSD with like 250 gigabytes of space on it and a massive page file. Like a ridiculously large page file. My RAM is a bit underclocked, I think, but I haven't got around to fixing that yet. It shouldn't affect it this much anyway. And the thing is as well, it's really inconsistent. I can change nothing. I have the same settings. I haven't changed anything. But between two different streams, the performance is totally different. So, like, for instance, one day I can have perfectly smooth frames, no stuttering, and then the next stream is under the same conditions and same game settings, with nothing open in the background, and it runs like crap. Like, it's just so unpredictable. There's also a Windows file delete that's meant to help the stutters. We'll see. I mean, if it works for 7 and it's not risky in terms of Windows stability, I might try it, but I'm kind of dubious of deleting Windows files for a game. Wait, there's only 2 slots? Oh, both car 50s. Gotcha. Troll's on. Troll has the Mi 8. He flies it a lot. Probably gonna get ambushed here. I have 0 SA. We're heading basically south out of Kasab. So if I had like about the direction I'm going. So they start at Al Ain and Al Dafra. Okay. So that's where we want to go. It's Windows game mode disabled. I don't think Windows 7 even has a game mode, so it shouldn't... Like, it probably isn't a thing for me. I still haven't got round to upgrading to 10. Cold War servers would be nice if the Helo spawns were 50% closer at 25. Yeah, I think Alpin doesn't want to make things too easy for the helicopter guys, though. The issue is just that, you know, when the spawns are that far away, you really need the fighters to cover you. track IR is running kind of slow. Give me a second, I'll just tab out here and we will see what mode my track IR is in. Should be set properly. Don't know why it's running so slow. It is a mystery. Yeah, I know I should upgrade to 10. It's just a case of getting around to getting the new SSD and then installing it and such. Because, like, that's going to take at least a week out of the stream. Not just the stream, but, you know, I won't be able to do anything really on the PC while I'm configuring it. So I got to set aside a week to get everything reinstalled once Windows is installed and set everything up the way I like it to be. Yeah, it does take a while to get anywhere in the helicopters. That's a thing, Shrek. Like, I have my Windows set up a very specific way, which I like to have it set up as. Like, that's comfortable for me. The last thing I want to do is let someone else set up my PC, because they'll set it up all wrong and it'll be horrible. Like, I hate using shit configured by other people. I absolutely fucking hate it. Still running slowly. At this point, I almost feel like it's my track IR, but it shouldn't be an issue. I don't know. Kind of over it at this point, to be honest. Got a coastline over there. Might need to turn my gamma down. This is still too bright. Is that something I can do here? System. Yes, it is. A bit too dark now, really. How hard is it to get lighting right, ED? How hard? 2? Still too bright. We'll leave it on 2. Actually, no, we'll set it back up to 2.2. Like, this is the thing, it just looks wrong. The global lighting conditions during daylight are the problem, not the gamma. They've got nighttime perfect now, just about. It's just daytime is so blown out. Makes it so hard to see anything. And if you look in the general direction of the sun, like even if you're not looking directly at the sun, it's just so bright. I know the sun's bright, you know what I mean. Like in real life, flying in real life, the sun is not... You don't look at the sun, because obviously that's a bad idea, but you can look in the sector of sky the sun's in without too many issues. And if it gets bright or whatever, you just fucking squint, you know? Like, it's really overdone in DCS. That's... See, none of my settings have changed. Nothing has fucking changed. Main blue base is on your left. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be near their base. They're probably out trying to sling and capture airfields. What we really need is a radar. One of the big quality of life improvements, especially for VR users, is the mirror's been corrected forwards. On the original module, it was a bit too far back. This is where it should be, and although it kind of blocks your ability, sort of, to look above your canopy at a target that's just pulling ahead of you, it makes checking a tail just simply look up. Whereas I used to have to kind of jiggle my neck around to get the right angle to see it. Now all I have to do is just glance up. It's really good. Our duffer is 255 for 70. I might head that way. We might catch a helicopter down, you know, in the weeds, transporting stuff from there or something. Wish mirrors in VR worked. They don't. Oof. That's pretty rough considering the periscope on this bad boy is a critical piece of equipment. Set up in this general direction. So, other than some minor bugs like this texture down here, my only complaints right now are the glass material, which there's a reason they had to switch to the ED glass. It wasn't like the first choice. And these lights are a little blown out in daylight, like you can't read them. If you set them to night though, they're too dim. So if there was like a kind of... if this was a little bit dimmer, just a little bit dimmer, it would be really spot on. Hopefully Cos here is setting up a radar. I guess we'll find out if it starts talking to us. They're not reflections, they're camera reprojections? Yeah, I know. It's a render target, it's not a proper mirror. Very few games actually do true real-time reflections. Most of them just use a render target. So for instance, if you're ever playing a Source game and you see a mirror and you notice it looks kind of pixelated, that's why it's a render target. Whereas a true real-time reflection is spotless in terms of graphics. You saw when I was playing Halo the other day, if you were here, the real-time reflections that the original Halo had in 2001, 2002 are so beautiful and crisp. They are a perfect reflection of whatever they're looking at. Whereas the render targets that you get in the mirrors here, or in, say, Half-Life or Half-Life 2 that is, or Gary's mod or whatever, they're not this, or they're not that clean. They're really pixelated. But the other thing as well, and I suspect this is part of the reason that they use a render target, is to prevent trees and buildings and ground clutter rendering in this, because that would really kill frame rate probably, knowing the way this game is optimized. I might need to actually like move my head position in the cockpit. That might be why it feels a bit off.
I lost your 15 clicks from the airfield.
Hey, there we go. Now we got a radar. Don't know where he put it though. You know what it feels like? It feels like ED actually turned the ground clutter rendering distance up. Like the draw distance? Whereabouts?
Back at the 4 airfield. One helicopter going to Fujairah International.
Alright, send me for him.
And Vegan going to Sharjah.
Put me on the closest.
For 137.
MiG-15, MiG-19, L-39, Mi-8, Car-50, Su-25, all the fun stuff. Oh, this frame rate's so fucking bad. Well, again, not frame rate, it's the stuttering. Even looking that way, 43 frames a second, it should be looking smoother than that.
Helicopters at Sharjah, you have Vegan coming to you 41 kilometers from here in 147.
On some missions.
Say bearing range again?
Only some missions for 25T, same as the Harrier.
Range 41 kilometer bearing 147 from you. 147, thank you.
I might need to restart the game or something, like turn my settings down again and restart the game. I don't know why it's performing so badly. It was fine last time I played it, which was like yesterday off stream. It was much better than this last stream, and I had the fucking PC running for days before that, so I don't understand. Like I said, there's no way to predict if it's going to run well or run terribly until I actually start streaming and see. We will try the next time I spawn in a MiG-21, we'll try it with the lighting off, but I don't think it's the lighting that's doing it. Like I said, I have not noticed any drop in performance, not a single frame lost because of the lighting. And that seems to be the experience of other people too. I've seen a lot of people saying that they noticed absolutely no performance hit from the new lighting. Which, if that is consistent, is really big, because again, there's like 30 or 40 individual light sources in this cockpit now. This isn't, you know, self-illuminating textures like they used to use for the gauge backing. This is real light.
It vanished, approximate position is 11 kilometers for bearing 172. He's going for Dubai. Correction, he's cold now. Going out.
I think I'm going to need to move my head position at some point, because the cockpit's bigger now. The way I'm used to moving my head around the cockpit's quite, like, it feels a bit uncanny. But again, the frames aren't helping.
Have we got any MI8 pilots on here?
Yeah, they did. They did. They cleaned the cockpit quite substantially. There's some specks here and there around the top and the sides, but the front is beautiful now, spotless. The only issue now is the gun sight, because the glass on this is very slightly opaque, just very slightly, same as the gauges.
I'm not sure if he's on SRS. Oh, okay. Do you know where he's going or what he's doing? intercept course 59 for 57 kilometers. Cold. Helicopters, you are in safe for now. Vegan is wagging off. Copy that.
Has the frontal obstructions gotten smaller? Yeah, the cockpit's widened a bit now. And the kind of webbing or fillets around the edges of the side lights are gone. This is what the actual cockpit looks like. I don't know why it was smaller before. But yeah, this is what it should look like. So that's why I was so excited for the cockpit update. You know, the new gauge lighting and the new Aspen stuff are nice, but this right here is what I really wanted. Being able to actually see in front of me is a huge improvement.
Ross, turn 90 for 47.
90 for 47. Spotting seems to have gotten worse in daylight for me because everything is so bright now, which is really annoying. I mean, it could also be the last few times I've streamed, I've been sleep deprived and the game hasn't been running well, so I'm just naturally not going to see things. I've said this before, but a lot of my ability to see things depends on movement, so if the game is stuttering like it is now, I won't see things because they're not moving relative to the background, everything is just like freeze-framed. Whereas if the game runs smoothly, I can pick them up right away. So, I don't know. If I knew for sure what the bottleneck was, like if I knew getting a new video card would improve my performance, I'd do it right now. A new CPU is a bit of an issue though, because I'm going to have to build basically a new PC around it in that case. Which I do need to do, but it's more expensive and time consuming. Basically a flying T-Rex? Oh, absolutely, yeah. You probably could, Driftwood. So a friend of mine, Bacon, actually figured out the almost scientifically the best settings to spot people in DCS. He fine-tuned that shit like you wouldn't believe. It looks kind of weird because he used a lot of sharpness and vivid colors and stuff, but he was able to consistently spot people from like 50, 60, 70 kilometers, just visually, in daylight.
Ross, turn 110, distance 30 kilometers, cold. He's going in the hills.
I'm quite low on fuel, so if I don't catch him on the way back, I've got to refuel. The radar's not going to see him. He'll be down in the weeds. He's a Vigan, I think. So he will be like 3 feet off the deck.
Yeah, it's Vegan.
Probably. You never know, but that's probably where he's going to be.
Uh, 101 415 cold into the hills. Altitude 800.
It's probably going to ambush me.
He's turning to the right, 112, 15 kilometers. Razor, what the fuel situation you have?
Troll, do you still see this guy?
Negative. But
AI
I think
does.
he's going soft along the hill line.
I just got a pop-up from AI. I'll try that. It should be in front of me somewhere.
You're on the edge of our EVR, so don't hope much.
At least the hills mean I'm reasonably close to Kasab. Yeah, I'm gonna RTB. I need fuel.
0 degrees, 168 kilometers.
Magic, Mookie, I'm at Sharjah and a KA-50. Do you know if there's any MI8s on the way?
It is a good one, isn't
Negative,
it?
no MI8 right now.
Copy.
These stutters are doing my head in. Like, I wish I knew what was causing them. I don't know why it's performing so badly. Frame rate's high. There's not even any ground clutter here, so there shouldn't be anything loading the CPU.
By the way, Ross, if you look around when you fly north, I believe we have some enemy EVR in that area you're going to cross.
My SPO is silent at the moment.
Well, at least I have seen Huey going that way.
Oh, that's where he was going, Fujara.
Okay, he captured it.
Wait, I'm right next to Fujara, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Well, I'm very low fuel, but we
Just
might be able to
half
do
hour from
something. Okay. There'll be some SAMs here now, probably. Try and figure out whereabouts the Hueys landed. Because I don't want to fly around too much. There'll be a Hawk here, or Hawks and Avengers. I found the Vigan.
Good luck to you, he's not on EVR.
Splash. There's a lot of Avengers here. I need to get out of here. Oh shit, I'm very low on fuel. try and burn some of this speed, convert it into altitude.
106 for 0 degrees.
Might not have enough fuel.
Russell Kaimach 326, 50 kilometers.
Do we own it? No, we don't.
No, I don't think so.
I might just make a sub. Maybe.
Good luck.
We'll have to get rid of them. I don't like punching off missiles, well, the R60s anyway, because they are limited in number, but I need as little drag as possible. Can't pick up much more height either. Yeah, I can't... I have to actually lean out now to look behind myself, which wasn't the case before. So the cockpit is definitely wider, you can kind of feel it. I'd imagine with VR it's really obvious, but with track IR it's a bit less so. Hopefully the SAU will level me off here. It's probably not. It's probably going to dive because it wants
Гармата, у нас 2 филда и фарп.
Rassal is down there somewhere. And it's a safer bet. We might just get away with it. I don't think we will. When that light starts flashing, you don't have much fuel left.
The KA-50 at Sharjah, are you on comms? Just taking off.
How well does she glide? Not well at all. I mean, I can find a landing site for this thing. I've belly landed this in Mountain Valley so many times. I just don't like having to do it. I prefer to make an airfield, but if we don't own Rassal, I can't refuel and rearm. And I don't want to be stuck on the ground for an hour waiting for somebody to finally get in a Mi-8 and capture it, you know? We might just get away with this. Might just. I just got to keep the power off. Try and hold her up here a bit longer. We might make it. Fingers crossed. I don't remember either, but it's something ridiculous. It's very high. Very, very high. Trying to remember how much fuel you have when the third tank is draining. The third tank is the smallest, I believe, other than the header tank, which is 80 litres. So when the top right warning light comes on, that means I have less than 80 litres of fuel left. And if I accelerate to mill power, or god forbid afterburner, when that light is on, I've got about 5 seconds, maybe less. So you'll also notice when you subject the aircraft to extended 0 or negative G, that light will start blinking. That's why it's lifting in the tank and it won't feed properly. Like the 80 litre tank is there to feed the engine under negative or 0 G, but because it's so small and the main system won't feed under those conditions, it won't refill the header tank, so the header tank drains all 80 litres. Like that, and then you're flamed out. I think we'll be okay. 35 kilometers. I should be okay. Sub itself is in that valley in front of me, I think. One of those valleys in front of me.
52, this is 51. I'm going to my helipad, repair my hydro.
Trim is really twitchy.
Copy.
He's actually using the Russian procedure.
7 degrees for 21 kilometers.
Numbered stations. So the Russians don't use call signs as Westerners would recognize them, they use a number. So for instance, what aircraft am I in? What's my TAC number? My TAC number is 101, so I would call in as 101, or 101st technically. Whereas my usual aircraft, if I can set my own TAC number, I'll set it to 13 usually. So I'd be 13th. That's why also when there's AWACS in this server, there are usually two. One is 15, he will talk to the MiG-15s because they have a different radio. And the other is 21, he talks to the 19 and the 21 because they have a different radio. So you'll get a lot of calls from 21, which is the 21 AWAC. And 15 won't speak to you at all. He'd be 15, but he won't... No. Yeah, 15, I think. He won't speak to you at all.
Какая отдача вообще у полтинников сейчас?
Hey, Abdullah.
Я так понял, аэропорты еще не забиты.
This is such a sketchy approach, but it's fine.
Нет. Один на востоке Фуджара, или как оно там?
Normally you would not approach this airfield from this end of the runway because of the fucking mountain, but beggars can't be choosers. I don't have the fuel to go the other way. And I'm no alien to bad approaches. I can, you know, I'm confident enough in my ability in the MiG-21 that I can land a bad approach. But normally you would not come in from this end of the airfield. This is really risky. I just about scraped the wheels on that. Like, that's how close this approach is. That was a little tense even for me.
А еще по условиям миссии у нас там есть 4 контейнера, которые можно на Абу-Муса донести, и будут МиГ-29.
And yeah, Kai-Tak approach is about right. That was fucking sketchy as hell.
Папа! Не Фуджара... Виган.
Afghanistan approach, Ross edition. Yeah, that was close to an Afghan approach, but I didn't have any flares left. It was one of your better landings. I was too slow. I got very close to stalling there. 250 kilometers an hour is like MiG-19 or MiG-15 landing
For you
speed.
it's 167 for 73 kilometers.
Is there a taxiway down here? I don't think there is. We'll just turn around.
Mookie, be advised, you have vegan on your
What's an
nose.
Afghanistan approach? A very steep, typically spiraling
About
descent,
50 kilometers.
flaring the whole way down. Because Bagram is surrounded by mountains, and the Mujahideen would place themselves on the mountaintops with stingers or Strelas or heavy machine guns, whatever they could get their hands on, and try and shoot down the transports as they came in or as they left. Yeah, there's a turnaround point at the end. I guess I'll just take off the other direction. I can veer left on takeoff to get away from that hill. Red eyes, yeah. Blowpipes.
Курса перехвата 165, 57 километров. Ведет слева направо.
Well, we just barely made it with 3% fuel.
F5.
That is an F5. Let's see where it is.
Дистанция примерно 100 километров.
100 kilometers.
No, Ross, for you it's more. For you it's about 1.59.
Oh, I know. I'm just translating for chat. Why in Belgrade do aircraft still do multiple tight turns landing? I don't know. Maybe they still think there's some sort of threat there, or maybe it's just weather conditions. I don't know. Like, there are airports with sketchy approaches just because of terrain or weather. Kai Tak being a prime example, although it's not open anymore.
Vegan circling around north west of Fujairah.
I mean, against helicopters, it's not as bad an idea as it seems. It is still a bad idea, but it's not as bad. But against fixed-wing aircraft, yeah, it's terrible. With that said, a lot of British air defense systems are actually SACLOS now, or like optically guided SACLOS. It's bizarre, but it does make sense when you consider that it can't be decoyed or jammed in any way. Well, I guess you could jam the guidance signal maybe, but like it can't be decoyed. You know, it's not tracking a heat signature, so it won't go for flares. It's not tracking radar, so it won't go for chaff, whatever. Rapier, yeah, exactly. The Rapier is, I believe, SACLOS optically tracked. And when I say optically tracked, I don't mean it follows heat signatures. I mean literally optically tracked. The Tunguska is optically tracked. A lot of Soviet SAM systems have a fallback guidance method. So, for instance, the S-125, which NATO guys would know as the SA-3, that has a optical mode for if it can't get a steady radar lock on something, it can follow a sort of a degraded state where it follows an optical track. I don't remember if the 75 had a similar system. I don't think it did. I think that was specific to the 125 and some of the newer systems. The mount and the periscope's inverted, yeah. Just because of the way that shit works in DCS. What it should be reflecting is, you know, whatever's behind me. But it's not, so... Like I said, this is a render target, this isn't a true real-time reflection. This stuttering is so bad. I really hope it improves when this switches map.
A fine vegan going north at Bullseye.
How do you get that? Get what? The periscope. You turn on mirrors in options. There should be a key binding to enable or disable it as well. I don't know what it is though. It's like something M, Shift M. I don't know. Whoa, what a beautiful aircraft.
Гармата, ускорься, если можешь, Виган тебя догонит скоро. Жду на максималка. Понял. Гидры вообще нету. В общем, нет, Виган за тобой не пойдет, он развернулся. Там их 5 еще.
Just climb out above this mountain. Should be able to do it. Taking only game info clean system on a separate SSD with no Photoshop and other bullshit installed. What's your GPU utilization? I have no idea how to check. Like I said though, my frame rate is above 60. My frame rate's above 60. It's just stuttering. So it's like rendering 60 frames and then on the 61st frame it freezes. Task manager? Yeah, give me a minute then. I'll have to tab out the game to do that.
Пардон, не вижу. Видимо, нет. Видимо, ставить надо. Он тебя видит, идет за тобой. Ross F5220 for 67.
McLean be damned.
Sorry, is that 225? Thanks, Palm.
220. 67 kilometers.
Yeah, it's not showing GPU on here.
Гармата F5 отвернул, видимо, он не в курсе, что у нас там ПВО нет. Прекрасно.
Yeah, no, I looked on the performance tab, it wasn't showing GPU, it was only showing CPU. But I think my GPU is fine, like it is running. It does seem to be using it.
Razer, go 188.
I might need to restart my game after this flight or something. My RAM's underclocked, I don't know why and I don't specifically know how to fix it. It's 1600 megahertz, sorry, say again. It's 1600 megahertz RAM, so it's just underclocked for whatever reason. Sorry, I was talking to chat.
Vegan is 184 for 64 kilometers.
184, 64.
85 is cold and going away.
The RAM's saying it's like 932 megahertz or something, but it should be 1600. I don't know why it's underclocked, but Like, the thing is, like I said though, it's not consistent. Like, DCS is running like absolute dog shit right now. If I cut the stream and do some just, you know, do normal stuff for a couple hours and start the stream again, it'll probably run fine. There's no pattern to it at all. None. Nothing. I'm not running anything in the background other than the essentials for streaming. Like, there's nothing that explains why it runs like this other than ED can't code their way out of a wet paper bag. Because no other game I own causes performance issues like this. Especially not if the frame rate's up in the 60s. No, if the frame rate's up in the 60s in any other game, it looks like it. Even in Arma 3. Arma performs better than this.
Okay, Mix 21 intercept course is 218.
That might be for Razor, maybe?
Okay, Ross, go 227, 42 kilometers. F5 is landing a charger. Correction, he's not landed. He's probably checked for anti-air defenses. Razer, go 227 for 57 kilometers. You have Ross in front of you.
Yeah, I'm on DDR3 RAM. Like, I built this PC in 2013, I think, and it wasn't top of the line then. But again, it runs everything else perfectly well. DCS is the problem.
Ross, vegan is 241 for 24 kilometers. 300.
There's Dubai. I can actually see him already. Just barely.
Be advised, there is still a 5 a little left of you. About 11 o'clock. Flank him. Fuck, it's 70 meters.
Vigan's following the coast, he's flying between the buildings. Hey Hero, yeah, it's something special, alright.
F5 should be 237. Oh, they both now merged. Uh, 236. 13 kilometers.
Had both on radar for a second there. Man, this frame rate's killing me.
Yeah, they circling around Charger.
I don't see them. I had sight for a second, I lost them. Oh, tally one.
F5, 2 kilometers on your nose.
Looking for the Vigan now.
Vegan behind you.
I see him. Barely see the fucking guy against the ground.
On your nose. Going west.
Suit. She feels like she's porpoising quite a bit, but it might just be because the game's running so badly my control inputs are delayed. Oh, by the way, Hero, some of the cockpit lights might need a little more tweaking. Like, these are kind of hard to read. If you turn them to the night mode, they're obviously too dim, but the bleed goes away. Like, the bleed is a bit much, I think, but other than that, they look fine.
RTB course for us is 39 for 100 kilometers.
I have nails off my front right.
That's probably our EVR if they not set up their own there. EVR is 63 for 51 kilometers.
Conkers and a Mistral. Just fixed my spotting in this patch. If you tried super sampled AA, it'll make the game run really badly. Like, really, really badly. The only reason I have anti-aliasing off right now is because I need to get every little bit of performance out of DCS I can get. I used to have anti-aliasing turned on, but it's just been... Like, DCS has been running so badly for the past month or two, I had to turn it off. Otherwise, I would have it on. DCS is problematic, got 32 gigabytes RAM, and on an Oni's PvE server I saw even 24 to 26 gigabyte usage. I've noticed it doesn't seem to actually use as much of my RAM as I expected it to, but that might just be because I have a massive page file. Like, I have about 250 gigabytes of free space on my SSD, and that is all page file.
Conserve your fuel if you can.
What can I say? It's like the one part of my PC that I can actually brag about. Need to go to your BIOS settings and set proper RAM clock. Yeah, I'll do it next time I restart the PC, maybe.
На фарме не работает заправка, что ли? Да, на фармах ремонт, заправка, электрика не работает. Интересно. Вообще у них частота 102, у него частота 127,5, по-моему. Может, неправильно запрашиваешь? Заходил на частоту, открывал двери напрямую, пытался. Ходила. Понятно, принял.
I don't know, Piazza. Honestly, with how DCS is, reinstalling might well make it worse. Like, I'm scared to touch my DCS install just in case I break it. Okay, Ras Al should be down here somewhere. Behind me, that's it right there.
Странно, а сейчас перезапустил, больше сейчас уже можно делать.
Thanks for gifting that sub, Bum. Welcome to the club there, Weirhog. Welcome to the 30 to 50 feral MiGs.
Кос, а ты чего хочешь сделать-то там, ты крутишься в том районе?
Dead? Oh no, they're not dead. Not when I'm on this server. It's the F5s that die on here. I will say again though, Persian Gulf always, for me, has consistently run worse than Caucasus, like, a lot worse. This map is just not optimized at all. And because there's so many more buildings and they're much more densely packed, even turning down your clutter settings doesn't help much. Because as soon as you get near a city, it just tanks it.
Rosawi VR should be just left of the north of you.
I think I see it.
Oh, they capture Sharjah.
Right there. How far am I from Sharjah at the moment?
236, 64 kilometers.
I might see if I can go harass them.
I think they sneak up Huey through the Dubai buildings.
I definitely saw something coming through the buildings. I thought it was the Vigan, but it was probably the Huey. That last one was Zvuki Mu. I can't remember what the actual name of the song is, but it's by Zvuki Mu. This one is The Last Man on Earth, which I can't remember who it's by. So I remember the artist of the last one, but not the title, and the title of this one, but not the artist. Lurking now? Gotcha, Pom. Yeah, that would have been the Huey I saw before. One for 90, 0. That's probably one of their fighters, maybe? The F5, because the Vigan left. They no longer have an F5, actually. It might be Conquer. Well, we made both their fighters leave, so I think it's time to change overlays, guys. There we go. That's a bit more appropriate.
Have second DVR now, thank you to those.
Yep, Cold War server. As usual. The last music playing was, I don't remember the title of the song because I have a very bad short-term memory, but the artist was Zvuki Mu, which is like literally moo, like moo noise or moo sound if you translate it to English. Let me type in chat. No, I haven't, Driftwood. What I do understand, I've mostly picked up through games, music, movies, and I did do like an online course which I kind of just didn't have time to finish. Also, I got up to the section on grammar and just gave up because Russian grammar is a nightmare. For an English speaker, anyway. Yeah, they are. Like, it was an alright course, it's just that as soon as the focus shifted to grammar, it was like, how am I going to remember any of this? So I think probably what I need to do is just focus on vocab first and then worry about the grammar later. Because at least if you have the vocab right, you can kind of still relate ideas even if you sound like a 5-year-old while you're doing it. Whereas it's no good having perfect grammar and only knowing 10 words.
No contacts.
Yep, I see it. I just got a merge call. That'll probably be Conker. Conker's probably here in his gazelle.
It's possibly no contacts on the VR, so he probably very, very low.
He will be if he's in a gazelle. Out of flares. Shit.
Razor Ross is 61 for 16 for you.
Definitely need to adjust my, not necessarily my track IR, but like my head position in the cockpit for this now. I'm noticing I'm having to turn my head a lot more than I used to. Just because the cockpit's a bit bigger now. Like, it's a bit wider.
Ross friendly to your right. Razor friendly on your nose.
That's my own shadow, I think. Yeah, that's my own shadow. I just got hit. Avenger, probably. Yeah, Avengers. They're really fucking deadly. Can I... Yeah, I can move my mouse in this camera. So it's parked down there. Should have known it was silly to get that close to the airfield, but this gives me a chance to restart my game. I'm gonna restart DCS. We'll see if that helps at all. I kind of doubt that it will, but we'll see if it helps. The problem is, like, without anyone on our team really... We've got some Car 50s, but I don't know if they're really working over the air defense, so... I can't do much against it. I'm terrible at air-to-ground. The MiG-21 can do some decent air-to-ground, but you need to know what you're doing. I know how to set the weapons up for it, I'm just not good at using them. If this doesn't fix things, then I'm out of ideas, because really it should not be running this badly. There's no reason. None at all. If I just double check Task Manager. I mean, it's going to be less now because it's not actually in the server, but... Don't know. Do not know. And yeah, my Task Manager doesn't show my video card utilization. But looking at EVGA, it looks like it has been running. Like, the temperature's quite different now. So, I don't know. I don't know with this game, it's just really frustrating. You don't even need to, I mean, you could just learn what the warning lights themselves are. You don't need to really learn the entire language if that's all you're doing it for. And learning the language itself doesn't help much with technical terms, because the technical terms themselves are often derived from a different place. The alphabet's easy, you can pick that up in an afternoon. Not good at something? Dude, I'm terrible at ground attack, especially in the 21. Hey CJ. I mean, it might be, because Giggles was saying if you run OBS on the other monitor, it kills your performance. Or it kills the stream, rather, not the performance. But I had no issues doing that last stream, so I really don't know, guys. I really wish I knew, but I don't. This game just bamboozles the fuck out of me sometimes. We've got to wait a little while for the cockpit to load in now. It does take a while. Get a nice view of the inside of the intake at least. There we go. There's our cockpit. I mean, it seems about the same. Still stuttery. We'll leave the lights off this time. Like I said before, I don't think the lights are the issue. In single player, they made literally no impact to performance at all, and a lot of other people seem to have noticed the same thing. They don't actually affect it. But just to be sure, because, you know, sometimes stuff that works fine in single player does weird stuff in multiplayer. What are the odds currently there? We need some more blues. We've got one Mistral and one Huey. We had a guy in an F5, but it looks like he disconnected again.
Two helicopter pop-ups near Dubai International.
How to learn Russian, play War Thunder on US.
Gazelle.
If you ever get the chance to do a face-to-face Russian language short course, I really recommend it. Study a few languages, having passion really helps. Yeah, I should probably pick one up. What? Fuck, I can't even speak English. I should probably pick one up at some point. It's just a case of finding one that I can get to. I live out in the sticks, and there's not really... It's hard to get a language course here in general, especially for Russian. But it is something I should do, definitely. Yeah, I don't think that's helped the frame rate at all. Like, it's just... It's still terrible. It's this map, I think. This fucking map is so bad. Again, I haven't changed my settings since last stream, and last stream was fine. Like, these are the same settings I've always had. Well, these are the same settings I've had for about the past 2 weeks. My settings before that were even higher, and it ran fine. I don't know. That's what I was doing before, Josh, and it was alright for a while, but just between time constraints and distractions and then running into the sort of stone wall of grammar, that was the issue there. Like, it was an alright course, it's just I don't have the attention span for online courses. I need someone, like, physically chasing me down and beating me with a rolled up newspaper if I don't get my homework done. What am I waiting for? We're trimmed. Flaps are set. I think that should be everything.
Я так понял, пока на земку негде выбивать. Ну, если только ПВО в аэропортах.
Getting Syria map, so exciting. It's a modern Syria map and it doesn't even include the interesting parts. So we don't have any of the aircraft we should have on it for red. We know if we're going to have Russians. We got stuff for the Syrians, but we don't have it for the Russians. And, you know, like, it doesn't include enough of Israel, it doesn't include any of Sinai or the Negev, like, all the stuff which you would actually want for an interesting Syria map, it doesn't include. It's another absolute fucking Snorefest boring, like, 21st century Middle East map like this. Which also probably means it's going to run like dog shit, because it's going to have a shitload of buildings. Yeah, but we're not going to have the Su-35 or any of that, or the, you know, the modernized MiG-29s that you would expect to see there, you know? We've got the stuff for the Syrian Air Force, but we don't have any of the stuff for the Russians in that time frame.
Так, все заткнули уши, сейчас Дубай захватит.
Whoopsie daisies, forgot that.
Еще раз повтори. Сейчас будет громкий звук, а захватит Дубая.
I really wish this mission wasn't so long, or was shorter, or something, because this is doing my head in. I want to go back to Caucasus. India-Pakistani border. That would be spicy as fuck. That would be so spicy. Like, the thing is, I trust... look, my level of trust in ED at this point is that if ED were going to give us an Afghanistan map, it would be a modern Afghan map. And it would involve, like, none of the stuff we need for the Soviet-Afghan war. Like, ED are just so busy pandering hardcore to the fucking Gen 4 Blue 4 crowd. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. Throw a bone to people that don't want to fly fucking, you know, 2000s update F-16s and F-18s, you know? Give us fucking Vietnam. Give us 80s Afghanistan. Give us 80s Central Europe. Literally anything but more Middle Eastern countries in current year. Yeah, so it's not the lights because the frame rate hasn't changed at all with them off. In fact, it actually seems like it may have been marginally worse.
Ross, just go through the coastline, along the coastline, sorry, to the Dubai and Sharjah. Over there. I had glimpse of Conquer, he hiding somewhere around Sharjah and Ajman. And a huge transport from troops from field to field.
Decent Yugoslavian map? Oh god, yes. Yugoslavia would be awesome. Imagine flying from Željava, the underground airbase, taxiing your MiG-21, or sorry, your L-17 out of an underground tunnel onto the runway. That'd be wicked. But we can't have that, because that would actually be fun and interesting, and something you can't get in literally every other flight sim that involves modern planes. You know, if you want to play in the fucking Persian Gulf or whatever, go play BMS, it's better for this kind of thing. For modern jets, anyway. BMS probably, I would say, doesn't hold a patch for older jets. Look, with some of the aircraft that are in development, we're going to need a Vietnam map sooner or later. Okay, well we are in Ras Al now. Like, look at this, it's so bad, but what's the frame rate? 51. What's the lowest frame rate? 42, looking that way. Like, with these kinds of frames, I should not be seeing any stuttering. You know, 40 frames a second isn't very high, but it's high enough that I shouldn't be noticing it. But again, it's not the actual frame rate, it's the stutter that's the problem. It'll render all those frames in and then freeze. Which is a DCS-specific problem, which I've only noticed in DCS. No other game does that. Even Arma runs better than this game. And Arma is notorious for running badly. You know, at least when Arma's running badly, it's because my frame rate is actually low. Don't want any more maps until they rethink the stupidity of not being able to fly them on multiplayer, which will be never. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, acting like it's still the early 2000s and everyone's playing single player, and you know, making it so you have to own the map to fly on it on a multiplayer server is ridiculous. It just fragments the already small community. It's a terrible, terrible decision. IL-2 offers, you know, you buy the map to play it in single player, but if you don't own it, you can still play it in multiplayer. That is so much better of a system, which is probably why more people play IL-2. Just throwing that one out there. Like, the main thing stopping DCS from being more successful is ED's fucking business practices and their management decisions. That's it. That's what's causing this game to not be more popular than it is. And especially because ED have a certain reputation now from that, you know, it really doesn't help the sim at all. See, when there's not light reflecting on the gauges, they look fine. It's just that the ED glass material is so highly reflective that the second the light catches it, it glares really badly. And the ASP has the same problem, so at night time this can be quite hard to see through. But that was done for a reason, so... Just one of my little sort of pet quality of life things with the new pit, but everything else is just... oh. Also, the issue of the maps being absolutely enormous. The thing already takes a ludicrous amount of space if you have everything. I mean, enormous in terms of file size, but in terms of play area, they're not that big. You know? And the level of detail isn't really that high if you think about it. Yeah, it's troll.
Around the buildings. You're probably hiding gazelle somewhere inside the... No, you know, somewhere.
Unfortunately, trying to spot a gazelle in this is going to be very difficult. There's a merge call.
I see nothing, so it's probably ER better looks than me.
Mistral any second now. Unless it's a Huey, but it's probably Conker. And again, because the stuttering is making the frames appear low, it makes it very difficult for me to spot anything because I can't see movement. I only see stutter. Oh, this is so bad. So bad. I fucking hate this map. I almost want to just let blue win the mission so we can go back to Caucasus. This is fucking terrible. Like, it's... the frame... or not the frame rate, you guys know what I mean. The apparent frame rate is so low that I can barely control my aircraft because my control inputs are delayed. Like, this is inexcusable. This is fucking inexcusable. There it is. Yeah, he's here. He just shot me. I can't see anything. My frame rate's too low. This is fucking inexcusable. This game does not look good enough to excuse how badly it runs on my PC. Like, this isn't a great PC, but it should be able to run this much better than it does. Like, fuck the Syria map. Yeah, fuck the Syria map. Fuck the P-47, fuck all that shit, fuck the Mosquito even, which I'm actually looking forward to. Fuck all that, I don't care. Give me a game that actually runs reasonably well. Like, seriously, give me a game that runs acceptably for something that looks like this. This is just obscene. And I'm apparently... oh, look! We're on the roof. Unfortunately, we didn't land on a building with a pool on the roof. Told you a story of stress testing my new PC? I don't think so. We'll switch to the MiG-19 and we'll see if there's any difference. If anything, it'll probably be worse, because the MiG-19's always run quite poorly for me. Like, I don't know if it's just something to do with the way the cockpit textures are organized, but we'll see. I don't expect this to help. It might make the problem worse. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a difference. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, guys. I really don't know what to do. I've already turned my settings down as far as I'm willing to turn them down. I streamed this the other day without restarting my PC and it ran okay. Like, it ran better than this. I streamed this a couple days ago on the same settings and it ran perfectly smoothly. Like, what am I supposed to do? This fucking game is so broken, I can't even stream it reliably. I have to wait and see until like an hour into the stream if I can play it or not. That's how bad this game is in terms of optimization. Like, look at this. This is what really pisses me off. 55 frames a second, 60 frames a second. I'm looking around here. I'm still getting above 50 frames a second in almost every direction. But it's doing this stuttering shit all the fucking time. Does it run better without streaming? No. No. There's no real difference. So, it's like, I just can't predict it. I'm going to jump out of the server, I'm going to try some single player stuff and see what it's like there. And if this keeps up, I'm just going to play IL-2 instead, because this is really pissing me off, honestly. Like, this is just ridiculous. No game in current year that hasn't been abandonware for 10 years should run this badly. Like, I just cannot fucking believe how poorly this game performs. See, DDCS I expect stuttering on because there's so many ground units. DDCS runs so many aircraft and so many ground units on the server, I expect it to run poorly, for me. But Cold War doesn't have many ground units. It doesn't have ground units that are, you know, waypointed through cities. It doesn't usually have that many players on it. There's no reason Cold War should be running that badly. And usually it doesn't. Yeah, we'll see how Caucasus runs, and then we'll see how PG runs in single player. Because I think Caucasus runs better just in general, it seems. Like, for me, PG always runs poorly, but not this poorly. I don't know why it's doing this. But yeah, I haven't noticed any real difference whether I'm streaming or not streaming. Some days it will run a bit better, but, like, not a lot. See, it's not really smooth. It's slightly better, but it's not really smooth. And this is a part of the map where usually it does run quite well. Actually, I'd say this is probably about the same. Bit far, probably. Why? Sword hits there. There's his jet wash. My marksmanship rather. My shooting's not very good today. Probably because I'm in a bad mood. There we go. Try fixing your RAM. Smooth frames are really dependent on that. I'll have to do it next stream. Like, I don't want to restart my PC in the middle of the stream and fuck with the BIOS. But yeah, I'll try that, but I honestly don't have much hope at this point. It's, like I said, it's just random. It's totally random. Some days I'll restart my PC and start a stream and it runs like butter. Some days I'll restart my PC and it doesn't run at all. You know, some days I've left my PC on for a week non-stop and shit's been memory leaking in the background, it still runs okay. Like, there's nothing that makes any sense with it. What's wrong? My RAM's underclocked a bit. I gotta fix the clock rate. So we'll check PG. But, like, that was a little bit smoother, I guess, but it's still... Caucasus should run better than that. Like, DCS is just not running well. I did notice at the start of the stream, too, OBS was having trouble hooking the game window. But... I don't know. Like, again, I streamed just, what, the other day? And it ran fine. I don't have any missions on Persian Gulf, I don't think. So I can't really test that. Confident you're malware-free? Reasonably confident, yeah. Hey Jimmy, having 99 problems with DCS at the moment. Let's just see. No, not instant action. Fast mission. These tend to run poorly because it spams a shitload of units, but we'll see how we go. MiG-21. From runway, yeah, whatever. Persian Gulf. Random, random, random. If you have NVIDIA control panel, right-click on desktop. Have you got max performance set for your GPU in relation to power settings? One moment. I think I do have the control panel. How do I tell it to set the best performance? I'm not running Windows 10, I'm still on 7. 3D settings, power management, max performance. Optimal power. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, okay, that might be it then. We'll try that. Hopefully that should save the setting. I already did that, Lazy Seal. I did that before I started DCS for the stream. I do that like every 2 or 3 times I start DCS. If I have to reboot, yeah, low latency mode. Okay, I'll check that as well. Oh, now it's decided to freeze up while it loads this. We'll actually exit out of DCS while I sort this out. Hang on, guys. Let me just... There we go. Bear with me. Also running 7 may be cool and all, but backdoors are not patched anymore. Yeah, I know. I was planning on going to 10 as soon as they stop supporting 7, but I just haven't got around to picking up the new SSD. I need to install it yet. Like, I know it's a security risk. I'm usually pretty careful about how I, what I do online, but obviously you can't seal all the nasty little holes, no matter how careful you are. What I might do is I might focus on getting my PC upgraded, like to at least to run Windows 10 within the next month or 2. So that's set. What was the other thing? Low latency mode. Do I want the low latency on or off, Conker? I'm guessing on. Ooh, there's an ultra as well, apparently. On, gotcha. Am I likely to need to restart my PC to get these working, or should they just pick up right away? No? Oh, happy days. Okay, cool. Well, we will see if this has helped. I would restart anyway. Yeah, if I do restart, it's probably going to be another 10 or 15 minutes before... I did restart DCS, or DCS is closed at the moment, so I can restart DCS now. You'll love Windows 10, it's fantastic, and by that I mean it's steaming garbage and the reason I abandoned Windows. Yeah, I've heard conflicting opinions, but a lot of the opinions I've heard have been that Windows 10 doesn't run as well, or it's just more annoying to work with. Like, 7 has been a dream for me. I really love Windows 7. I've had very few issues. The issues I have had are the kinds of issues you get after you don't reinstall. Like, I haven't done a clean Windows install for over 6 years at this point. I know you're supposed to reinstall it like every fucking year or some shit. I haven't, and it's worked. It's had a few hiccups here and there, but it's worked. Like, Windows 7 is so stable and so good. And I prefer, I mean, I know you can get skins for Windows 10 to make it behave like traditional Windows, but, like, just the fact that Windows 7 still has a default old-school sort of Windows UI, I like that. I really don't like the whole, let's turn everything into a tablet interface design that's going on these days. I think it's stupid. You design a tablet interface to work on a fucking tablet, not a PC. You know? And a lot of shit that's easy to find if you're used to the older systems, you just go through the start menu, go to this category, go to that. To get to it on a modern fucking UI, you've got to go through 3 different pages of shit, and then it's hidden under, like, a drop-down menu or something, you know? Alright, let's see if this has fixed things. Knowing my luck, it's probably made it even worse somehow. Oh, there's nobody on blue now. There are even Bible games included. Incredible. Yeah, I know, Lazy Seal. I'm just waiting for the game to fire back up and get me into the server. There we go. We'll just see if OBS hooks it. There we go. Okay, OBS has got it. I'm on blue, I'm someone? Yeah, but you're in a fucking gazelle. You don't count. Gazelles don't count. I almost want to hop in a 25 and try and take out some of that air defense, but we want to test the performance in the 21, so we'll do another 21 flight, even though I'll get my ass kicked by Sam's and or Conker. Music bot, please. Okay. You got me when I was having, like, a fucking breakdown because of the game's performance. Oh my god, that's actually even worse. That is actually even worse somehow. Like, I don't know. This fucking game drives me insane. It's actually worse. We're playing IL-2, I guess. Frame rate's the same, but the stutter is more pronounced. I don't believe this fucking game. I really don't. ED, fix your fucking shit, seriously. Remember how I said I'd buy the Mosquito the moment they announced it? Yeah, no, we're not buying any more ED modules. Not until they fix their fucking game. This isn't even an open beta thing. Like, stable runs fucking badly too, because the version they split off to make stable also ran badly for me. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand how it's so fucking hard to make a game that works properly. Everyone else can manage it. Oh no, shit, you're right. I didn't update it fully. I've still got like 5 gig left to go. Oh my god, I should have planned this stream beforehand. You know what? Fuck it. Let's play Halo 2. At least Halo 2 works. I know that works, so we'll play that. By the way, if you guys want some spice, you should check out some of the choice quotes that 9line dropped in the ED Discord when they released the patch the other day that broke everything. I mean, yes, the hotfix fixed pretty much all the issues, but you should check what 9line said specifically regarding the fact that up until now, quote, we used to be able to get away with this. When you have a community manager using the phrase, we used to be able to get away with this, you kind of have some problems with your development. You know, kind of have some issues there. Really have some fucking issues there. At no point should any member of a development team be saying, we used to be able to get away with this. Like, no, that's not good enough. I'm sorry, it's not fucking good enough. And we get the meme song, because DCS is a fucking meme. Give me a couple minutes to set this up, guys. And we're going to cut that because, you know, Halo has its own music anyway. I really want to play Cold War, like, especially now that the MiG update has come out. I really want to play on Cold War, but there's no point. The game is running so slowly. Like, how can I play it? Play U-Boat? I don't think I have U-Boat. I've got Wolfpack, but I haven't been able to organize anyone to play with. I got a bunch of friends that have it, just they're never awake when I'm trying to play it. Alright, we'll switch scenes. Hello, OBS, you're gonna hook the game? There we go. It didn't fix the biggest problem, the global lighting's still broken. I mean, we can have a chat before I start this up. So, the thing is, ED seem incapable of actually getting the lighting right. They get close, but they fuck it up the other way. So, for instance, a couple patches ago, the daytime lighting was not perfect, but it was good. But the night lighting looked really... It was an improvement over what it used to be, okay? I'll say that. It was an improvement over what it used to be, but it still had issues. You know, the Rayleigh scattering would discolor the stars as they went behind it. The stars themselves were the wrong... Like, they were a really bright cyan color, and then as they went behind the scattering, they'd turn green and blue and shit. And it looked kind of weird. And the lighting wasn't quite there. Now they finally got the night sky perfect. Like, DCS has not X-plane level lighting, but it's getting, you know, to a point where it looks better than most games at night. Except for the moonlight glint, which we've spoken about before. But now the daylight is blown out totally, and turning your gamma down doesn't solve the problem, because the problem isn't... It's not the gamma, the problem is that everything is just illuminated, like, way too much. Like, there's too much, not really bloom, I guess, but... Like, it's blown out, you know? It's just blown out. Just do just chatting and talk about public transport. No, I'm saving that one for when I stream workers and resources. Stable implies they fixed all prior bugs before splitting off. Yeah, I know. I know. It implies that it actually works, and it should have no bugs, or if it does have bugs, they're such minor, bizarre edge cases that literally nobody was able to detect them through months of testing. Which isn't the case. You know, there's a reason that the meme is stable is last week's open beta, because that's essentially what it is, except now it's stable is now last week's open beta, and previously it was 5 months ago's open beta. With all the same issues. Stable still has the issue for the video card drivers with certain aircraft's radar, like the MiG-21. It still has the lighting issues. It still has the issue which fucks me up, where if the sun is low enough in the sky and hits the ground clutter, I still don't know what's causing this. I just know that it's something to do with the sun being low in the sky. It tanks my frames. Like, it literally drops me to like 1 frame every 10 seconds, and then the game crashes. I don't know what caused... Like, I know it's something to do with low light, that's it. I don't know what specifically is causing it. It doesn't always happen, but it usually does if I look in a certain direction at you know, evening, or dawn or dusk or something. That is not fucking stable. You do not call that stable. I know why they put the current, or not the current build, but the build before on stable. It's so they can sell the supercarrier to more people. I mean, if you think how many people play single player, and the majority of them are probably on stable, and then you think about how much money ED would stand to make selling supercarrier to those guys by pushing it onto the stable branch, do the maths. It's not hard. It's pretty obvious why they pushed it. What MiG update? New cockpit, new external model, new lighting. There's a lot. Next time you try to launch IL-2, there'll probably be more gigs to download. Devs are pushing updates like mad. Yeah, but they're actually good updates that don't break the fucking game, because the IL-2 devs are competent. You go play Wolfpack with me sometime? Yeah, I need to play it, you, Az, and who else? I think Thermo has it too. We need to get all the guys on at once. I also need to remember how to actually do anything in it. Maybe later on when you're not streaming, you can restart and see if the performance settings you changed then take effect. I'll probably, probably after this stream, I'll just restart my PC, go into the BIOS, fix the RAM clock rate, and maybe that'll help. I don't know. Like I said, the reason this is driving me around the bend is because there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not consistent. Like, I can change literally nothing between two streams, and one stream the game doesn't run at all, and the other one it runs beautifully with no stuttering, no hitches, good frame rate, everything. Like, there's nothing. I have changed nothing. At all. Like, it just makes no fucking sense to me how the same game, on the same settings, on the same system, the same session, with nothing else running in the background, how that can have such substantially different performance. I just don't understand it. Like, I really don't get it. Watched the VOD where you finished 2 Betrayals the other day. The fact you kept dying in the same areas over and over is why I hate 2 Betrayals more than Library. It was just bad management from me. Bad health and shield management, to be honest. My aggressive playstyle does not cut well with Heroic. It was even worse with Legendary when I did play that back in the day. Alright, let's get going. I'm actually starting to get tired too. So my sleep cycle's been kind of disrupted again lately. It went from waking up about 3 AM my time and falling asleep in the mid-evening to basically the opposite, waking up in the early afternoon and falling asleep in the early morning, which is when Cold War's most populated, so... I don't know, I've been really tired the last couple days. Like, I've been struggling to stay awake through the day, even when I haven't even been up for more than 6 hours yet, so who knows. Play on it. Yeah, we'll play Heroic. Do I seriously... Please tell me. It should be installed. Oh, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. We might have some downloading to do. You're not a family man? No. God forbid I ever have children. Absolutely not. Yeah, it's not fucking... Hang on. Is there somewhere I can monitor how much it's downloaded? I thought I did have it installed, but like I said, I didn't plan this stream at all. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's got, like, nothing to install. Don't think Ross ever played Street Fighter long enough to get that joke. I don't think I've ever played Street Fighter at all. What time is it? It is 5 minutes past midnight. Which is actually later than I thought it would be. I thought it was still like 10 PM or something. Okay. We good now? Bruh. Ah. Okay, we're fucked. I thought I had it installed. Ugh. I've kind of backed myself into a corner here, haven't I? This isn't installed. IL2's got 5 gigs left on the patch, and the IL2 patches take forever to download. Just talk politics. Bad idea. Really bad idea. I'm already in a bad mood. Play Squad. Squad probably needs an update too, to be honest. Oh, let me see. What have I got? I mean, I guess I could do Squad, maybe... Solitaire, Minesweeper, god no. GeoGuessr I don't have set up. Like, I've got a display capture set up, but I don't want to open my browser because that will open so many tabs and my PC will probably crash.